comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
Ooh, what's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Podcast. I am DK Wrestler.
And I am MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, we will be discussing about the remaining Funko Pops of July 2022. I know technically we are in August now as of not only the recording of this podcast, but as you guys will be listening to this, but we will be saving the August announcements for when we discuss about the majority of August Pops in 2 weeks, as next week will actually be our fandom-related podcast on South Park, which releases next week, and we had already pre-recorded that. So exciting podcast for you guys next week for especially you South Park fans. But not only do we have the remaining Funko Pops of July 2022 to discuss about, but because we have that, we also have our segment, The Update, to update the top 10 list from essentially last week's podcast. But before we actually talk about the Pops, we might as well kick off with our segment of What's the Haps, which we haven't done that segment in, I believe, I want to say about a month and a half to 2 months at this point. What's the Haps obviously is the segment where we discuss about what we've been doing the last week or so, whether it's watching TV series or movies, playing video games, anything that life has brought to us the last week or so, or however long we want to go back and discuss about, since we haven't done the segment in a while, which, like usual, we'll kick off with MD Shady. What's the Haps with you?
Okay, what is the Haps with me? I've definitely been getting up to a few things, mostly work, like always, but I have been watching some shows / movies, so I guess I will talk about some of those. The first show that I've really been enjoying, and I believe I've talked about this on the podcast before, is Solar Opposites, which there are Pops, and we did discuss about those. Solar Opposites is a great show. I've really been enjoying it. I've been rewatching episodes as well as watching the 3 seasons, I believe, that are on Disney Plus. Then a movie that I actually watched just a couple nights ago was called The Hunt. And it's not a movie that I would normally be into watching, but I was hanging out with a couple of buddies and one of them had suggested that we watch it. And we watched it and it was actually a pretty good movie. The guy, I forget what his name is, the bigger guy from My Name is Earl is in it. And basically it's a movie about these like rich elite people who are hunting people who are poor, not necessarily poor, but like your normal everyday kind of people. And it was an interesting movie, but overall it wasn't too bad. And that same night we also watched Happy Gilmore, which there's also Pops for Happy Gilmore. And I mean, I've seen that movie a million times. I love golfing. So and Adam Sandler is one of my favorite actors of all time, so just a great movie. And to go along with that, I also have been golfing quite a bit, actually. My last round of golf, I actually did very bad, and my coworker had beaten me for the first time that he's ever beaten me. He played a good round, though, so congratulations to him. Another show that I've actually only watched one episode of so far, but I definitely need to get into it, is called The Bear. And it's basically a show about life in the kitchen, I guess you could say, of being a line cook. And what I've seen so far is amazing. Maddie Matheson is in it. I also started watching The Boys. I was suggested this by one of my coworkers and I've been enjoying it. I think I've watched the first 3 episodes. So I don't know, maybe if I end up finishing the series, I might have to get into collecting some of those Pops as well, like The Deep. Also finished Stranger Things, which I don't think we've really discussed about on the podcast yet. And man, oh man, it was so amazing. I loved it. I think that they didn't really do anything wrong. I think that it played out just the way it should have. I know that some people didn't like how long the last 2 episodes were because they were fairly long. I think the first one was about an hour and a half, and the second episode was like 2.5 hours. So some people thought it dragged on. I didn't, though it was very stressful watching it. So watching the final episode for 2.5 hours definitely took a toll on my stress levels, that's for sure. But overall, amazing. And I cannot wait for season 5 eventually when we do get it. And then I guess the last thing that I'll talk about is that I had bought some new carpeting to recarpet my pop room, the room where you guys see me and DK in, where we have the corner shelves. So I bought some carpeting and I think I'll probably either fix the carpeting in here or I might decide to do a different room. But the pop room's coming along pretty well, especially for filming videos. So I figured if we did put a new carpet in here, that'd be pretty sweet as well. But I guess that's all that's really been going on with me. So what's the haps with you, DK?
What's the Haps with me? So recently, since the last time we did What's the Haps, I was on a wrestling tour. It was unfortunately cut short, but I still had a great time on this wrestling tour. Been shredding a lot of Fortnite, obviously. I don't remember if the last time we did What's the Haps, I had gotten the Darth Vader skin yet. I might have just gotten it the last time that we did What's the Haps, but Darth Vader, and then now I am working on the bonus rewards. Recently, this past weekend, because it was SummerSlam, Fortnite just released a skin of John Cena, which I actually did not get, surprisingly, but a bunch of people I know of did. And the emote's pretty cool with "You Can't See Me." But yeah, I've been shredding Fortnite, trying to get at least one level up every single day. And then, yeah, SummerSlam was this past weekend, which was a pretty decent pay-per-view. And then, as terms to TV shows and movies that I have watched, I've actually caught up on a decent amount of Marvel. I finally watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness after it being released in February in theaters and then Disney Plus within the last month. And it was actually a pretty decent movie. And then I actually watched last night or the night before, I can't exactly remember, but I actually binged all 6 episodes of Ms. Marvel. It was too bad that I didn't finish it before pretty much all the Funko Pops were announced. But now, after looking over the Funko Pops after I seen the series, I kind of understand each of the characters. Yeah, not too bad. Will I collect the Pops for the show? Most likely not, but it was overall a pretty decent series. It started off slow in my opinion, but it worked its way up, so it was pretty sweet. All right, so I guess we can now talk about the first set of Funko Pops for this last set of July 2022 Funko Pop announcements, which will range from July 24th up until July 26th. So kicking off July 24th, which was a Sunday actually, Funko had announced a set of Pops for the upcoming MCU movie Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which we have ourselves common Pops of Namor, Ironheart MK1, Atuma, Namora, M'Baku, Shuri and Sunbird Pop Rides, Ramonda, Akoi, Nakia, and then a Funko Shop exclusive Shuri, which these are expected to release as early as November 2022. Then on July 25th, Funko had announced a set of Blacklight Marvel Pops, which we got ourselves a Gamora and Nebula 2-pack, the Wasp, Valkyrie's Flight, Shuri, and we have ourselves Rescue, which will be a part of a Pop and Tea bundle, in which all these are exclusive to Target and unknown yet of when these will be released. On that same day, Gabriel Iglesias had officially announced his own Blacklight Funko Pop of himself, which was exclusive to Fluffy.com, in which at this point, those pops have since sold out. Next up, Funko had announced a Winnie the Pooh Pop VHS covers, which will be exclusive to Amazon, in which that's expected to release as early as October 2022. Once again, on that same day, Funko had announced a pop of SirMixaLot for the Pop Rocks lineup, in which that is available now at various retailer stores. Then on July 26th, Crunchyroll had announced a Funimation exclusive glow-in-the-dark Princess Hibana from Fire Force, in which that is available now on the Crunchyroll and Funimation website. On that same day, Funko had announced a pop albums of Tupac Shakur's Tupacalypse album, which that's expected to release as early as October 2022. And last but not least for this day, we have ourselves a set of Disney Ultimate Princess in gold dress pops exclusive to the Funko Shop, which we have ourselves already announced Merida, I'm pretty sure her name was, that we talked about a couple weeks ago, but new pops announced are Cinderella, Mulan, and Anna, in which unknown of when these will be released since these are Funko Shop exclusives. So kicking off with the Black Panther Wakanda Forever Funko Pops, and these are actually some pretty decent Funko Pops. I'm excited for the movie because I really enjoyed the first Black Panther movie, and unfortunately this one won't have Chadwick Boseman because of, unfortunately, his passing a year or two ago now, but I think it will still be a pretty decent movie even without him, and these Funko Pops look really awesome, especially with Namor and how you have that water base involved with them. I think that's really awesome, and all the other characters look pretty decent. I kind of figured that there'd be a lot of Shuri pops because Shuri is T'Challa's sister and that she's probably going to play a huge role in this movie, especially if you guys have seen the trailer for this movie coming out. It looks awesome. A lot of people are super hyped for it, and I don't know how well these Funko Pops are going to sell because of how the last set of Funko Pops for Black Panther had sold, but I think that some of these are going to be really huge sellers, at least in my opinion. Then we got ourselves the Blacklight Marvel Pops exclusive to Target. And these are some pretty cool pops. The Gamora and Nebula 2-pack are pretty sweet. And I'm glad they put them in a 2-pack considering they are sisters instead of just doing singular pops and then eventually doing a 2-pack. The Wasp is pretty decent. The Valkyrie on Pegasus, or Valkyrie's Flight, I'm pretty sure it's called, looks pretty decent. Shuri, I'm not surprised because of the announcement of Black Panther. And then you have the Pop and Tea bundle of Rescue, which was a pretty decent one because we had only gotten one pop of Rescue, I believe, in the past with the Avengers Endgame lineup. And now we have the Blacklight version, which I think will be pretty decent, especially it being a Pop and Tea bundle. Then we got ourselves the Gabriel Iglesias Blacklight Pop, and this is also pretty decent. I mean, this is just the same molding as the second Gabriel Iglesias, I'm pretty sure, where it is him with his dogs, except it's blacklight, and this is pretty decent. I mean, I like the overall design, and obviously, like all of the fluffy pops that I've sold by Funko, they have sold out on his website. So, I mean, I'm surprised that also there weren't autographed options, because normally he's got the autographed options, but I'm pretty sure these weren't autographed at all, which is a little bit surprising. But overall, the detail, especially if you've seen what the box looks like for this pop, is pretty sweet. Then we got the Winnie the Pooh pop VHS covers, and this is pretty sweet. I like the idea of him holding the kite, and I'm surprised they did that considering that it kind of covers the actual title of Winnie the Pooh on the cover, but overall making it a little bit of a deluxe is sweet because it's more of a bang for your buck. A lot of people are super hyped for this. A lot of people normally are hyped for Winnie the Pooh pops per se. Then we got SirMixaLot, which I don't really know much about SirMixaLot. Once again, I've mentioned on the podcast before, I'm not really into the whole rap and hip hop scene, but I know there was a lot of hype. There's some sort of significance towards the bass that a lot of people were really hyped about for this pop and thought it was genius on Funko to make the bass exactly what it is right here. I can't exactly remember what it was that people were mentioning, but people were really hyped about this pop. Then we got the glow-in-the-dark Princess Habana, and this looks pretty sweet, even as a pop that might not look glow-in-the-dark. Looks pretty sweet with the detail of the eyes and how they're blue, and they have those like kind of plus signs, and then you have the little fan that's on fire there. I think that's pretty decent, and I'm kind of curious to know what glows in the dark. Is it the tips of her hair and the flames, or maybe the eyes glow in the dark too? I'm really curious to see this in person, and hopefully maybe I'll eventually see it soon at like a convention or something to see what that glow looks like. We have the Tupac pop albums, and this is pretty sweet. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Tupacalypse is his debut album, I think people were mentioning. I don't exactly remember, but people are excited for a pop album with Tupac, and people are wanting more pop albums for Tupac. So I guess, I mean, let's see how this sells first, and then maybe Funko will make another one down the line. Then we got ourselves the Disney Ultimate Princess lineup of pops. The one great thing about this is that it seems like with the amount of pops posted here, these are probably going to be the last set of Disney Ultimate Princess pops with gold dresses that we ever get to discuss about on this podcast, because I'm not a fan of constantly talking about these pops over and over again for what seems like either every week or every month. So to have an abundance of them and talk about them all at once is great, because then we probably most likely will never be able to talk about these again, because we say the same thing about the other ones. They're not exactly as cool as the other Disney Ultimate Princess pops where they have the cool bases. They're just pops that are repurposed and have shiny gold dresses. And then the only cool thing also is that gold foil Funko Shop exclusive sticker and that it has a pin.
All right, starting out with the Black Panther Wakanda Forever pops. This is a really cool looking set, and I agree with DK. These will probably sell pretty well. I'm sure there's probably a lot of hype around this movie. And it's funny how I believe in the last pod, when we talked about some of the other pops for July, we talked about how good that set of Black Panther pops was. But now I think that this is almost an even better set. I mean, there's definitely a lot of different styles of pops that you have going on here. So this is a really cool set with a lot of detail with some of these pops. So yeah, I could see them selling pretty well, and it makes me pretty hyped for the movie, honestly. And then we have the new Blacklight Marvel pops, and this is an okay selection here. I'm not a huge fan of them because I do like kind of your main Marvel heroes. I liked those Blacklight ones, but now it seems like there's starting to be a ton of these Blacklight Marvel pops. The Valkyrie is pretty sweet. I never would have thought of making that Blacklight. And then the Rescue Pop and Tea bundle. This is pretty sweet as well. I like that t-shirt. I think that they did a good job with it. And the pop itself looks pretty cool in Blacklight, honestly. And then we have the blacklight fluffy Gabriel Iglesias. This is sweet. I like this. I haven't been a huge fan of some of the recent Gabriel Iglesias Funko Pops just because I feel like there's not too much different about them and I don't know if they're necessary, but it is cool that you can get them signed. And it's interesting that this one doesn't have that option. So I guess you'd have to meet him at a con or something like that to be able to get it signed, especially if you do have the rest of the set signed by him. We have the Winnie the Pooh VHS covers, and this is pretty sweet. I love Winnie the Pooh. This is a great looking pop, but I do kind of agree with what DK was saying, where it does cover up a lot of that cover, and I feel like that should be the main focus with these VHS covers. I mean, the pop is great, but you kind of do want to look at that cover nice and big with the pop being in front of it. And I don't know, this cover is interesting because they cover up the other characters, and so you see like two Winnie the Poohs, which I don't know, not my favorite, but overall, this isn't a bad VHS covers by any means. And then we have SirMixaLot, and this is actually really funny. To kind of catch DK up to speed with this pop, SirMixaLot is the artist who does Baby Got Back. I Like Big Butts. I'm sure he knows that song. That's a very famous song. A lot of people know that song. So I guess you can infer what the base that he's standing on is by that information that I've given you. So overall, this pop's great. I probably will add this to my Pop Rocks collection. I believe a couple of pods ago, I talked about how there hasn't really been many Pop Rocks besides albums that I've really been so like too interested into adding to my collection. But I do think that SirMixaLot will find his place in my collection, especially if I do find it at a store like our local GameStop. Then we have the Funimation exclusive glow in the dark Princess Habana from Fire Force, and this is a pretty sweet looking pop. And I'm also interested in seeing what glows because it seems like there's multiple things that could glow here. I think the eyes glowing would be pretty sweet, but the hair and like DK said with the fire, I think that those are some possibilities for glow as well. I just hope that it turns out to be a pretty cool glow and they don't like cheap out on it and only have like one thing glow because overall this is a nice pop and with a decent glow, this thing would be pretty sweet. Then we have the Tupacalypse Now pop albums for Tupac, and this is pretty dang sweet. I like this. This is probably a pop album that I will add to the collection. I know there has been some that I've decided not to get, though originally I did want to get a full set of pop albums, but that's not too realistic in my opinion. So a Tupac pop album I think makes sense. I don't even think I have a Tupac pop in my collection. So this one's a decent one. I like how this one looks. It looks a lot like Tupac, whereas some of them I wasn't the hugest fan of. So I think that this will be the way that a Tupac pop adds into my collection. And then lastly, we have the gold dress princesses. And it's so funny how on the last pod, when we got the Merida, I talked about how this is a cool pop. I think that this is one of the better ones. And I really hope that this is the last time we have to talk about these dang princesses. And now we got to talk about three more. But thank God that it really does seem now this will probably be the last that we're talking about them, just because we keep saying the same thing over and over. And we don't really want to do that. That kind of gets boring. But yeah, the gold variants, there's nothing wrong with them. I think that they do look good, but there are quite a bit of them. And we do like the fact that you get the pin and also that Funko Shop sticker is pretty sweet. I would like to see that with a different set of maybe if they did some gold pops for something else. I don't know what it would be though.
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca using our code of Funko Popcast to get 10% off.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code of Funko Popcast for 10% off.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the next set of the last set of July 2022 Funko Pops, which range from July 27th all the way until July 29th. So kicking off July 27th, Funko had announced a set of pops for the MCU movie Thor Love and Thunder, which both of them are exclusive pops. We got ourselves a new version of Gore, which will be a specialty series exclusive, and Ravager Thor, which will be an Entertainment Earth exclusive, and these are expected to release as early as September 2022. Then on July 28th, Funko announced the next die-cast Funko Pop, which will be a part of the Marvel lineup, and it's of Thor, which of course has a 1-in-6 silver chase, in which unknown of when this will be released on the Funko shop. On that same day, Target had announced 2 pops, or officially confirmed 2 pops on their website, of a glow-in-the-dark Kurogiri from My Hero Academia, and we have a battle-damaged Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, which will be a part of a Pop and Tea bundle, in which that is available now both online and at various Target stores. Then on July 29th, Funko had announced the next set of NFT Funko Pops, which the theme is Avatar Legends, which brings pops from both The Legend of Korra and Avatar The Last Airbender, which we have ourselves pops of Bolin as Nuktuk, which will be limited to 2,125 pieces, Fire Nation Aang, which will be limited to 999 pieces, Kuruk, limited to 2,125 pieces, Painted Lady, limited to 2,125 pieces, Varric, limited to 2,125 pieces, and Freddy Funko in Aang costume, which will be limited to 4,160 pieces, in which the cards had just recently released on the Drop website and has since sold. Actually, wait. No, these are actually dropping, I believe, August 9th, actually. Yeah, August 9th. I forgot to write that down. So yeah, as of the recording of this podcast, these still have not released yet. So those will be available August 9th on the Drop website at 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. EST on the Drop website. On that same day, Pop in a Box had announced their own exclusive pop of Skeleton Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, which has a 1-in-6 glow-in-the-dark chase, in which that is available for pre-order now and is expected to release as early as November 2022. And last but not least, Funko had announced the second pop involved in the Boruto Pop Deluxe set, in which this is of Tobirama Senju, in which obviously, like the other one, it'll be exclusive to GameStop, and is expected to release as early as November 2022. So kicking off with the Thor Love and Thunder Funko Pops, and these are some pretty badass Funko Pops. I really like the detail involved with both of the pops. I unfortunately have not seen Thor Love and Thunder yet. I just have not had the time. At this point, I feel like I'm just going to wait until it releases on Disney Plus, whenever that will be, to watch that. But I've heard mixed reviews, I would say, about the movie. So I don't know, maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. These pops look great. I love the detail involved with Gore's face and the mouth, and then he's holding the Jolnir, the Stormbreaker. I can't remember exactly the weapon. I don't think it's the Jolnir. I think it is the Stormbreaker, which is like the hammer and the axe. And then you have Ravager Thor, which looks like, to me, he's playing guitar with it. I could be wrong, but that's exactly what he looks like he is doing, especially, I mean, the main theme song for the movie is Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. So I wouldn't be surprised if I watch this movie and there's actually a scene involved in the movie where that song plays and then someone plays some sort of air guitar, or in this case, using the weapon as a guitar like Thor might be doing in this. But I could be wrong, but these are both some pretty cool pops. If I had redone that top 5 list we had done on the channel of Thor Love and Thunder Funko Pops, I think one of these, maybe both, could make it on that top 5 list. Speaking of Thor pops, die cast Thor, and I'm a little heated just because of the fact that I had predicted this for San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I mean, I predicted that there'd be a die cast Thor, but I was wrong on it being a San Diego Comic-Con, which I guess makes sense for a couple of reasons. First off, maybe they wanted to wait a couple of weeks, because one of the reasons I said it was going to happen was because of the Thor Love and Thunder movie releasing. But at the same time, nowadays, it makes sense because of the fact that every single die-cast Funko Pop has a chase figure to go along with it. So I feel that Funko wouldn't want to do a Comic-Con exclusive with a chase, although that'd be something really unique for them to do in the future, but at the same time, not really, because, oh man, just I can only imagine the price point on the secondary market for that. But this is pretty decent. It's cool that we have this because it definitely makes sense with the armor and especially the Jolnir that he's holding in his hand. Then we got the Target exclusive pops here of Kirojiri from My Hero Academia, first of all, which I don't exactly know what glows in the dark. So the only photo we're looking at is the box. And there wasn't a photo actually provided on Target's website to show what the glow looks like. So I don't know if it's going to be the purple. I don't know if it's going to be like the white on the suit. I don't exactly know. Hopefully that purple would look nice if it is the purple. Otherwise, I don't know how good the glow would be. Even with the eyes, I'd be fine kind of with the eyes being glow in the dark. Then we got the Pop and Tea bundle of Tanjiro, in which at first I didn't know what was the difference between this one and the original one because it's the exact same mold. It didn't look metallic to me because that's usually what I think it would be is metallic, but I realized that there is scuffing on the face, so it's more of a battle damage Tanjiro, and that's pretty cool. I do like that a little bit better than the common one that released last year for Demon Slayer. The t-shirt's pretty decent, and I'm kind of a fan of the colorway they chose for the box, although once again, we're not exactly fans of what boxes look like for Pop and Tea bundles nowadays. We got the NFT pops of Avatar Legends, as it's being called. I don't want to go back and forth saying Avatar The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, even though I just did. But these are some pretty decent Funko Pops, and a lot of people are so disappointed that these are NFTs. I've never seen so much disappointment as terms to a set becoming NFTs because a lot of people are mentioning, man, I have a complete set of Avatar The Last Airbender Pops, and now I got to chase for these NFT pops that are going to be towards like $300 or $400 each on the secondary market in order to once again complete that set. And there's even a lot of hype as terms to that Fire Nation Aang, which will be the grail of the set of 999 pieces, in which that disappoints a lot of people. And then I really like the detail of Painted Lady. Haven't seen the series yet, which I think I will get to it eventually. I just don't think it's on the top of my to-do list at the moment. But all these characters look pretty decent, especially I really enjoy the Freddy Funko in Aang costume. I really enjoyed what they did with that, even though it kind of goes with what I always say about Freddy Funkos and what I don't like about them. But for this one, there's something about it that makes it really unique. Then we got ourselves the Skeleton Stitch Pop in a box exclusive with a glow in the dark chase, and this is okay. I don't think it's as good as the Stitch Pops we talked about a couple weeks ago that went with those very memorable scenes, but this does go along very well if you already have obtained the San Diego Comic-Con Skeleton Stitch backpack. So it's kind of a cool thing to go along with that. I think that would have worked out better, in my opinion, to make it a pop and bag bundle instead of making it a pop with a chase, although it would be unique if they had done that where it was a 3,000 piece pop and bag and there was a chance at getting a glow in the dark chase in your bag instead of, let's say, one 3,000 piece that's metallic. I think that would have been pretty interesting, to be honest, if Funko and Loungefly had done that instead of making a regular pop with a glow in the dark chase, and especially with a retailer that a lot of people do not have good hype about. And last but not least, we have ourselves the second of 7 pops for this Boruto Pop Deluxe set, and this is pretty decent. I have not seen Boruto, nor have I seen Naruto Shippuden, but I have seen Naruto, the original, and this looks pretty decent. I would have to see, once again, the rest of the set to kind of determine what my favorite one would be, but obviously it's pretty much the same as I would mention about the other one that we discussed about a couple weeks ago, is that it's pretty cool to see kind of these anime moments per se, or these anime deluxe sets where you have this cool background going on where it looks like some sort of, I guess, Mount Rushmore type dealio going on with the rock with the face imprinted on there, popified actually. And then you have a character that goes along with that for the deluxe set. So I really do enjoy what we have so far.
Okay, we got more pops for Thor Love and Thunder, and these pops are probably two of the better ones. I mean, the set was pretty good. There was a lot of good stuff, especially with that Papa Rides. But the Specialty Series Gore looks sweet. I like how that looks. And the Entertainment Earth exclusive Thor as well looks pretty cool. I like that one. And yeah, it's interesting to see if he is like in a guitar pose or not. I guess I will have to watch the movie as well. But I am in the same boat as DK where I probably will just wait till it is on Disney Plus before I actually watch it. And then we have the die-cast Marvel Pops with Thor. And yeah, we got another chase version that's the silver. And I don't know how I feel about these, mostly because not all of the pops are like this with the first couple ones. So it would kind of suck if you have all of them and then there's just like a couple pops that are missing that don't have a chase. It would look weird on a shelf, I think. But besides that, I don't think it's a terrible idea for the diecast pops to have chases, just maybe with a different set and not the Marvel ones. And then we have the Target exclusive glow in the dark Kirujiri from My Hero Academia. And I really enjoyed this character from what I've seen of My Hero Academia. So this has got to be one of my favorite My Hero pops thus far. And yeah, I'm interested to see what the glow looks like on it as well. If the glow is good, I might actually end up buying this and have it being my first My Hero Academia pop because I do really enjoy this. And then we have Tanjiro, and this is a decent pop. I like the battle damage on this compared to the original one. I do think that this one, just a little bit more added detail, kind of goes a long way. And the t-shirt overall looks good. I think it's very simplistic, which I think is perfect. And I like how the face and the red border kind of pop off of the black t-shirt itself. I think that that's honestly a really solid t-shirt. And then, of course, we have that box, which the box coloring looks cool, but again, it's one of those window packages where there's nothing really special about it. Next up, we have the newest set of NFT pops, and like DK has said, it is for the Legend of Korra and for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Thankfully, it's not something that I need in my collection, but this is definitely a big L for Funko because, or at least for them, the way that they're treating their fans with this. Because, yeah, I know some people that do have complete sets of Avatar pops, and this just sucks because I feel like every single pop in this is a character that hasn't had like an original pop. With the NFT sets, I like to see something where it's variants of a character, or like if they were blacklight versions of already existing pops, something like that, something where fans that have spent so much money already on completing their set now have to pay ridiculous prices that Funko's not even getting. They're not getting secondary market prices. I don't know. It's just silly, but I understand because you got to keep producing stuff that is limited edition or limited piece to keep value going with the company. But I don't know. This set's really decent though. I do enjoy the character selection, and the Freddy Funko as Aang. That is an amazing pop. I wish this wasn't an NFT pop because I would probably buy it because Aang's a sweet looking character. I love Freddy Funkos, and put them together and this looks wicked. I love this pop. Then we have the pop in the box exclusive Stitch with the skeleton costume on. And this is a sweet pop. I really enjoy this pop, but the one thing I don't enjoy is that the chase is a glow in the dark chase. I think that this should 100% just be one pop. I don't think that you want to get that comment at all. I mean, why not just make it glow in the dark to begin with? And if they want to do a chase, do something with it that's different. Have him with the mask on or something like that, and also keep it glow in the dark. I think that just doing glow in the dark isn't a great way to do a chase, especially when it comes to Disney stuff like this. With anime, fine, that's cool because they're already super detailed, awesome pops, and a lot of anime fans do want to have those different variants side by side in their collection. But I feel like with Disney fans, and especially with Lilo and Stitch, having a Stitch pop be a glow in the dark chase just rubs me the wrong way, I guess. And then we have the second of 7 of the Boruto Build-A-Scene Deluxe set. And this is pretty cool. I mean, I feel like all of these are kind of going to be kind of the same, where the pop looks sweet and the like mountain base behind them also looks sweet. So I feel like there's not going to be a ton to say as these get announced, but I can't wait to see what this looks like when they're all together. And I also do want to see all 7 of the different characters and who they actually choose, considering I don't know a whole lot about Boruto, but I do know some of the different characters. I don't know if there's any significance with any of the 7 characters, but I am excited to see what this looks like when it is all finished.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the update. Obviously, the segment, if you are new to the podcast, since we are officially over and done with July 2022 Funko Pops, that was the last set. We'll be doing an update for the top 10 list we did last week since, like I mentioned, we are done with July Pops. So now these pops have a chance of making the top 10 list that we had done, which for this list, obviously, we always start at essentially number 10 and work our way until whatever the newest pop is that's been added to the list. And if there's any above that, we're already in that spot and it didn't change, those will not be mentioned and that you'd have to go to last week's episode of Funko Podcast to find out what the pops are that were on this list, which I will kick off this. So starting off at number 10 is the GameStop exclusive Hashirama Senju Pop Deluxe, which was on the list previously at number 9. Coming in at number 9 is the Funko Shop exclusive Hopper from Stranger Things 4, which was originally number 8 on this list last week. But the new pop that has been added to it, and it's only one pop added, which the top 7 you guys will have to look at last week's podcast to find out what pops were on this list. But coming in now, taking the number 8 spot, is the pop of Namor for the Black Panther Wakanda Forever lineup of pops. And I think this pop is really cool. I really love when Funko does these bases where it's like a water base or some sort of electricity power base that they've done previously with even anime pops, but they've done it with Marvel also. I really like how they did that with Namor. And overall, people are hyped for the character of Namor to appear in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And personal reaction wise, I knew that I felt like one of the pops had to be on this list because of how I do believe still to this day that Black Panther is one of my top 5 favorite MCU movies. And I think this movie, I will be going to see it in theaters when it comes out because I did enjoy Black Panther that much that I think it deserves to be seen in theaters instead of waiting for it to go on Disney+. So I felt like one of the pops had to be on there, and I felt this one was the best one of the set. So Namor at number 8.
Okay, I have added one pop and one pop only to the update. So now coming in at number 10, which was originally number 9, I have the Freddy Funko as Movie's Worker, I would say, because he's wearing the movie's attire. I can't remember exactly what the pop was named. And now coming in as my new number 9, I have the Freddy Funko as Aang. This is really cool. I do like it a little bit better than the movie's Freddy Funko, but it's awesome. It is sad to see the Cyndi Lauper pop albums to get knocked off the list, but there's just something about that Freddy Funko as Aang where I knew I had to add it somewhere, so I feel like 9 is a safe spot.
Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's edition of a Funko Popcast, make sure you smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and let us know what your favorite pops were from July or what pops you enjoyed from the selection we talked about today. Press the subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. And if you guys haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at a Funko Popcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's edition of a Funko Popcast, and we hope to see you guys next week for our fandom-related podcast, more specifically titled, They Killed Kenny, the South Park Podcast. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
When a girl walks in with an itty-bitty waist and that round thing in your face, you get sprung. Peace in, peace out.